My name is Ray Halabonich, and I'm a member at CRB Church, and life hasn't always been this good. My life was pretty unhappy probably as an early child. You know, my dad used to hit me and my brother a lot. You know, there was just no love in my house at all, none. So, you know, I went to the streets for my love. You know, I developed friendships, you know, and that's where I seeked the love that I needed. You know, I had a hole in my soul and I was trying to fill it. And, you know, and doing that took me down a road that led me into drugs and alcohol, and which kind of dominated my whole life. So eventually I went back to the streets again, you know, started running around with gangs. By the time I was 29, I was pretty heavy into meth. Caught my first prison term, was in and out of prison, you know, three times. I didn't know what to do, you know, I was going right back down the same road I always went. And then I met my wife. Probably the best day of my life, you know. You know, we fell in love instantly, and about a year later we got married. Life was good, you know, still clean and sober, but something was still missing, you know. Nothing that my wife could provide for me, and I didn't know what it was, you know, and eventually I started using drugs again, thinking that was going to fill me, because that's what I know. I mean, I know how to do that real well. Me and my wife had been married probably 6 years, and boom, you know, the cops were looking for me again, you know, because, you know, I had these warped morals, you know. I figured I went to work every day, I put my check in the bank, and so I figured I was good, I was doing my duty. But, you know, I still did drugs, I still had to supply my drug habit, so I did other means to get the money to do that, and which, you know, none of them were lawful. So eventually the law caught up with me, and, you know, I fought my case, and I finally took a deal, and I went back to prison while I was married to my wife. And only the Lord knows why she didn't leave me, you know, because I know I would have left myself. You know, God does stuff for us that we can't do for ourselves, and I couldn't stop using drugs, so he goes, "Here, I'll get you off drugs," bam, and he threw me in prison. That's where me and God connected right there. You know, my instructor, I'll never forget him, you know, his name was Chris. He says it's always got to be God, recovery, and then everything else. You know, anything that you put in front of God, it'll be the first thing that God takes away from you, you know. And since I've been to his house, my life has totally changed, man. I mean, I lived in isolation. You know, I could be in a crowded room, but I was isolated. You know, I was always alone. I didn't fit. You know, and it was my head telling me that I didn't fit. You know, that, you know, look what you've done in your past. You know, you can't associate with those people. And like I said earlier, you know, I've been a member here for actually going on 6 years. You know, and using the whole time, using drugs the whole time. Because I served coffee on Saturdays, every other Saturday with my wife, and I would come in, I would do my work, and I would be out of there. No meeting people, nothing like that until Ironman came along. When Ironman came along, I knew something was telling me to go in that direction. You know, I didn't know how to have relationships yet, you know, with people that were not on drugs, you know. And while I was up at his house, my wife was orchestrating stuff here for me. I don't know if it was God working with her, but 300 Ironmen, or I don't know how many there were, you know, they were all praying for me. Guys I didn't even know, you know, and that's what Ironman meant to me. Living a life of being alone, you know. I finally got brothers, you know, that'll always be there, you know, no matter what. I never thought I would hang with people like that. Genuine, you know. The only people I'm used to hanging out with are people that are trying to get something from you and just trying to bring you down, you know. You know, and I'm not, you know, I wasn't never a bad guy. I was just lost, man. I was just looking for people to love me for who I was. And that's what I found when I found Iron Man. It's like I was carrying the world around with me everywhere I went. And it's just so freeing, you know. God, you know, seek me and you will find peace. Even if all the Iron Men are gone and everybody in the world's gone, I still won't be alone no more. You know what I mean? My name is Ray Halabonich, and I am Iron Man.